What's up, everybody? Hey, Hard Knocks is out. It was a great first episode. And what I love about Hard Knocks is how you get to see things that you would never see. It's a peel, it's a look behind the curtain. You get to see the personalities, you get to see the coaches, how they coach. You get an idea of kind of how practices run, even, and what it looks like in meeting rooms. So, we want to talk about 3 things that we learned after watching the first Hard Knocks. Feel free to hit your comments below. But Chris, you got 3 things for us. So hit me with the first one. What is something you learned in watching this Hard Knocks that maybe you didn't know before?
Yeah, so my first one is one that we probably assumed, but I really wanted to confirm it. And that is Dan Campbell cares about the players. And
Ooh.
it's just like, I guess I was wondering, once the cameras are on and practice is going, like, is this dude just turn into an animal? Like, what is going to happen? And what happened was who knows? We didn't see every single thing, but what they showed was that speech about we got to be physical. We got to tackle to the ground. How are we going to learn? How are we going to get better? All this stuff. And he's like, guys, if we could not ever hit and get to where we needed to be, I would never put the pads on. He's like, I think about you guys. I think about you. It's like, man, if you're playing,
I need you to trust me.
Yeah.
I mean it. There's
Trust me.
science into this. I trust me on this. And he's like getting emotional because he likes him so much. He wants to win so bad.
Yeah. And it's always just kind of floored me. Like, the players play, and technically they don't need coaches. It's like, we're out here, we're going to play, but you have coaches that support the player. Like, that's I'm in place to make our team and our players do well on the field. So it's always
Your
like,
job is to empower the player.
Yeah. So just, I'm here for you guys. And so him saying that, we learned that, man, he is for sure all about the player, their health, their well-being, wants them to be themselves, all those things that we thought. We really confirmed it.
Yeah. And I think overall, when you see it, there's kind of 2 types of coaches. There's the coach that wants to win and doesn't really care what it does to the players. He just wants to win at all costs. And they just want to win. And then there's the coach who wants to win with his players.
Yep.
And he wants to, like I said, empower his players. He wants them to get the credit. He wants them to get the glory. And I think Dan Campbell, when you said he cares about his players, he didn't even watch the Hard Knocks episode. When they interviewed him, they're like, what did you say? He's like, didn't see it. And then he's like, I have some ideas of what's on there because people make fun of me, but I am who I am, And so I'm sure he would be angry if he saw how much he was on Hard Knocks and how he was basically half the show. He would be like, get my players on there.
Yeah.
And it's not his fault. I mean, it kind of is his fault, but he just has a big personality. He has a big, vibrant personality. So, but he clearly loves that team, loves those players, has a connection with the city of Detroit because you can see it, you can hear the emotion in his voice. What about number 2? What's something else that you learned? I love that first one.
Number 2 is Jamal Williams is a leader, and I just thought he was like the funny, good with the media, kind of goofy guy that was not afraid to talk. Really. And it's like, cool. That's great. You need that guy that's kind of funny in front of the media and does that. But seeing him really like come up with these passionate speeches and just, it's just like he cares, number one. And then he's just vocal. And so you can be a leader in a lot of different ways, but he's just like the vocal. I'm going to step right in here and drop F-bombs and go hard as I possibly can and start crying. And you're like, awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. And I know I talked about this in another video that we did, but I view, and I even heard a couple of the beat writers talking about this, you can almost see what Jamal Williams' role is on this team. It is the role that Dan Campbell had as a player. And what I mean by that is Dan Campbell stayed on those Bill Parcells Cowboys teams, even when he probably shouldn't have been on the team. And then he goes to New Orleans and he's under Sean Payton and he keeps getting 1-year contract, 1-year contract, 1-year contract. And the reason for it is really pretty simple. The coach could count on him to be a leader on the team when the coach couldn't do it. So Jamal Williams is the same thing. And like I said in the other video, like you're sitting here and you see exactly what Dan Campbell's doing at the end of the practice when he's like, doing, the classic coach thing. I'm too angry to talk.
Mhm.
So somebody else take it and I'm going to stomp off angry, right? Just Jamal, you got it. And then he comes out and gives that speech. Like, if you're a coach, could you write it up any better? Like, could you have made a better speech yourself that would be more? It's huge.
It's
And
it's
then
it's
every
like
guy,
it's
like,
it's the speech that we would give as fans. Like, come on,
just
like,
please.
come on.
It's a
Last
speech you
year was
see in a
good.
movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Right. It's something you'd like write up because it's like, come on, like last year
it's
wasn't
that
it?
good.
Just what. So I love it. Yep.
What
Awesome.
choose your why. And what I love about that is when he's saying, I get emotional about it because I care, and choose your why, and everybody's like patting him on the back. He's like, we got you, we love you.
Mhm.
Like, it's just like, wow, a leader gets a response like that too. That's awesome. What's your third one? Give me the big number 3.
Yep. Best one here. The Lions finally have an identity, and we've never, not as far as I've watched, right? Really, you've got the Matt Millen era, which was just in and out,
They got like
absolute.
a year to year, every once in a while, in a year they create an identity, but then
Yeah,
it's
yep.
gone.
But it was just don't know what we're doing. This is
Yep.
unbelievable. Then Schwartz's identity was just like, let's get crazy. Let's, we got Sue. I don't care. We've just been bullied for the last 10 years. Let's just get weird.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of
And the
talent, but
fouls will follow.
yeah, you got a lot of talent, but a lot of weird
Penalty,
guys. You get
penalty.
Sue, Raiola, Stafford's great, but it's like, it's just like, what are we doing? And that's the Caldwell, where then Caldwell starts coming in, settling things down.
Mhm.
The Caldwell thing maybe was working. I don't know. That's a whole nother
Mhm.
video. But
Yeah.
then boom, you bring in Patricia, change the identity. What is that? What is that even looking like? We luckily, or didn't even get a chance to get to it because it's like, this isn't working. And now it's like, okay, I see our identity. I see the roles. That's when the 04 Pistons and the Tigers,
Sure.
like we knew the roles. We knew who was going to be in there. We knew, it's like we're starting to know the players more. Just the whole thing is like, I see what we're doing. We clearly have an identity. It's toughness. It's grit. That's just what we're going to be. That's our
Script.
thing, and that's what we're going for. Love to see it. Love to see it really play out in Hard Knocks.
And is there any other way this team wins?
Right.
Like,
That's right.
it has to be grit, because it's not going to be talent. It's not going to be speed.
Nope.
It's not going to be athleticism or strength. Like, I'm not saying we don't have any of that. That's not what I'm saying. On the offensive side of the ball, we actually have speed everywhere. But like,
yeah.
It's not those things. It's not experience, that's for sure. And youth doesn't win you games. So it has to be grit. It has to be working harder than the other team. It has to be going longer, and just continuing to play, taking teams out into the deep waters, into the abyss that he liked to talk about. Like, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get a team to buy into that, that can be dangerous. And then when you couple that with talent, and you couple that with things like, I just like, okay, here we go. Like,
yeah,
it's real.
You're so right. I mean, I just kind of picture like the Rams out in LA practicing. I mean, they're not touching each other. And it's like, I get it, because you're skilled all over the place. You got Stafford just kind of warming up his arm. That's what I picture.
Got a rough elbow,
Yeah,
just kind
we
of.
cannot we can't win like that. We don't the Rams, good, Super Bowl champions, they're going to do their thing. We cannot win like that. We've got to be that's got to be our identity. We got to be practicing like it, the whole thing, because you're right. That's how we're going to win if we win.
And we got to come out of the gate strong, right? So we have to be prepared physically, mentally. And I just I'm excited about it. I really am. Can I give you a fourth?
Yep.
All right. So fourth thing, and a thing that I learned, because I love the ones that you did. I learned that I'm not sure who's more competitive, the players or the coaches. And this is a unique thing, because what I always say when it comes to leadership, when it comes to whether it's in business, whether it's in sports, whether it doesn't matter where it is, at a school, it doesn't matter. There's a trickle down effect that happens. If you have a leader that's a jerk, right, and doesn't like to have any fun, that trickles down throughout the team, throughout the business. Same thing happens when you have leaders that are just competitive to the hills. Like, and you can see it. You see it with Deuce and Aaron Glenn just going at it. And you're just wondering yourself, is this good?
Yeah.
Is it good that they're going at it? And like, shouldn't they be coaching? But like, if I'm sitting here and I see my coaches carrying that much and they're not even wearing the pads, they're not even playing against each other, how much do I care? And
Yep.
so like I better bring my intensity level up to where they're at. And so you get to see some of that. And I'm excited to see the players and the level of competition with the players as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. And I did not expect that. I thought you're the same thing you said, like, should they be doing that? Like as much as they
It's
are, like I
so
get it.
weird to see, but I
Yeah,
love
they
it.
kept
But
going and it was like, man, I'm really kind of struggling with this almost because it's like they're on the same team. Uh wh- why are
get a
you so
comment on that, would you, everybody? Like,
yeah,
do you watch that and it just gets you fired up and you realize, like, no, this is exactly what the Lions need? Were you just kind of like, is that productive,
right.
counterproductive? I don't know, but like, I did learn that we have coaches as former players that will compete till the bitter end, and that's going to make them hard workers too.
Yep.
And so I think that's a good thing as well. I really do.
Absolutely.
So,
No,
all right. Yeah. Good stuff. You got anything else?
I'm good.
All right. He's good. We're good. Leave a comment below, hit the subscribe button, and hey, we'll see you on the next one.